Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
Welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm Marlene Cuellar.
And I am Brighton Cott.
And thank you for joining us this morning.
Yeah, it's an early morning as per usual with Open Your Eyes.
I know, you're looking bright today.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I like to say that I stand in solidarity with the indigenous peoples from across the world.
Fantastic, fantastic. And that's actually perfectly fitting for a conversation for today.
Yeah.
So we have quite a lot of interesting conversations lined up. But we were chit-chatting about what people are buzzing about on the streets. And I know there are two issues that seem to speak to the heart of Belizeans. One is definitely looking at changes towards that will get us closer to legalization of marijuana.
Yeah.
And the moves afoot there. And, of course, the 11th Amendment.
Right, certainly. If we look at the number of people who are on remand or were on remand at the Colby Foundation, I think this adjustment to that particular law is critically important for us as Belizeans going forward to reduce the backlog that we see within the justice system, particularly for people who are on remand for years for a minimal amount of marijuana or possession of marijuana. So definitely it's refreshing to see this being changed and being addressed by the current administration. You know,
and I've been kind of just listening to different perspectives from people and seeing where their thoughts are on this. And we already hear at least some sectors of the church coming out to say that they disapprove. In fact, they're pushing for a referendum before any changes are made. But from the government side, it seems that they are interested in tackling an existing gap, a gap that we knew was there from the first decriminalization of the 10 grams. And, you know, if you go back to the conversations had then with the then Attorney General, there was a bigger matter on the table, and that's, I think, why the legislation was left at just decriminalizing 10 grams. Yeah. When we move into the production, the growing, and the selling, the business aspect of marijuana sales, there is a larger implication, and it's also looking at how we will be able to sustain it in the country. If it is still illegal, as in, you know, how do you access banking services? What do you do with the proceeds of your sale? How is that going to function within our economy? And we know how critical it is for us to have or foreign correspondent banking relations and what implications it'll have there.
Yeah, certainly. Another topic that is being talked about right now is the 11th Amendment. And we've seen the leader of the opposition speak out very publicly about the fact that he doesn't agree with the amendments that's being made. It's like an attack to marginalized communities. And people will have their own opinion on this particular adjustment. I think from my own perspective and opinion, leadership should have certain desirable characteristics that we look forward to in those who represent us. And I think the 11th Amendment is adjusting just that.
Interesting. Yeah, you know, and I think a part of what we have heard from government representatives, and I believe the Prime Minister discussed it last night, it was in the news, where he spoke of simply amending to include other jurisdictions, because as the laws currently exist is for the Commonwealth. It is a conversation that is ongoing. We have a Senate meeting tomorrow. I think there'll definitely be more conversations that will go from there. But I hear your point quite a bit. I hear your point about, you know, what standards do we want to hold leaders to? But then I hear the other side, which is basically that we're also encouraging, especially young people, to recognize that you make mistakes and that rehabilitation is something that's possible. Now, I understand that in other countries, you know, it's off limits if you've served time, and especially time for serious offenses. But my question is, should it be a matter of a constitutional amendment, or should this just be something that individual parties would adopt?
Right,
They're
right.
vetting teams
Yeah.
for candidates, and perhaps the internal constitutions of political parties should be
Yeah.
where these types of rules and parameters are set.
Yeah, that would perhaps be the most ideal place for us to be, but we know the culture of Belizean politics and party politics and how our candidates are selected. It's oftentimes based on popularity and not necessarily having those desirable characteristics.
That's true. That's true. And I think, you know, when we look at our campaigns as well, they don't necessarily dive very deep into looking at kind of the character issues of politicians. It's more what involvement you've had. It's looking at things like being able to, you know, paying attention to what particular agreements they've been a part of or family connections, and not so much based on character.
Yeah.
But that conversation is ongoing, and of course, we will be bringing you that as well for us to understand more about what the 11th Amendment really means, and of course, the changes to come for marijuana in the country.
And also, Marlene, in other news, we've seen that the lockdown is in effect right now for the 3 villages down south, and we have seen that the ministry has been living up to its word by delivering certain services and providing certain funds to these communities.
Yeah. So they're on lockdown for 2 weeks. We keep on monitoring the COVID-19 situation. Vaccination numbers are up. I'm really happy to see that. But we are nowhere near where we need to be for herd immunity. Herd immunity requires 70% of the population to be vaccinated. And it has to be a continuous effort to get people out, get people vaccinated. And for those who are unsure or fearful of getting the vaccination, that we can provide the right information to them so they can be able to make that decision based on the proper evidence.
Right, the facts, and not the conspiracy theories.
Well, it's funny because I saw somebody say the other day, you know, have you seen any athletes take the vaccination? And I said, yeah, I have. You took it.
Yeah, I'm fully vaccinated.
Yeah, and there was a whole move by, I know, a bunch of athletes to be able to get vaccinated.
So our entire team is almost fully vaccinated, and we know that the FIFA, the Football Federation of Belize, they have also been pushing their athletes to get vaccinated, and so the athletes have been doing their part, I think, for the most part.
And speaking of fully vaccinated, tomorrow we have the first cruise ship arriving in the country.
Wow.
And, you know, it's interesting times to see how they're going to come into the country and enjoy our areas. We do have restrictions in place. I believe this first ship should be with fully vaccinated persons. Not all ships have fully vaccinated persons, but this particular ship should come into the country for day tours, and it would include fully vaccinated passengers.
That's great for our economy. We need to find a way how to bounce back.
I can imagine small tour guide operators, maybe hair braiders, just thinking to themselves. And, you know, I think it's been about 15 months, since cruise ships have been sailing. What is going to be interesting is seeing how passenger behaviors change. When they disembark, are they going to be comfortable, given the fact that they understand COVID issues? Are they going to be comfortable walking around? Are they going to sit with a hair braider? You know, where are they going to have drinks? We are living in an entirely new space, and we are still living in a pandemic. So I think looking at how tomorrow pans out is going to be really critical for seeing how the industry will move forward, especially in this year.
And certainly seeing how tourists will adapt and adjust to our regulations that we have in place, because we know that the regulations in other countries have been changing. For example, in the US, if you've been vaccinated, then you don't necessarily have to use a mask when you're out in public spaces, and that hasn't changed for us as yet.
Well, let me tell you, Belizeans have become very strict mask police in the past. I think they're going to be strict mask police in monitoring tourists as well. So that's big news coming up on tomorrow as well, early morning. But from looking at it from the Belizean business point of view, I can imagine how tour operators are really excited to just get the wheels going again and getting things back into motion. Surely at an expense to get everything coordinated once again, but a positive step nonetheless. All right, but we're going to keep things moving for this morning, and it's time for us to get into some motivation to get your day going. And that means it's time for our eye opener. And our eye opener, taken from dailyom.com, goes like this. Maybe you are using a desire you can't fulfill to distract you from truly engaging the blessings you already have. When it comes to the things we want, there always seems to be an endless list. No matter how many times we get something off that list, we add new things to replace it. In life, this drama of wanting and getting and wanting is all part of the dance. The things we want motivate us to get up and get them. And yet, at the same time, we can torment ourselves with our wanting, especially when we want something we can't have or can't find. It is in cases like these that it might be fruitful to entertain the idea that maybe what you really want is right in front of you. It's not too far-fetched to consider that we might be victims of the same folly. It can be scary to have what we want. We get caught up in the chase and forget to enjoy the beauty right in front of us, like a child who never wants the toy she has in her hand, but always the one just out of her reach. Take a moment today to consider the many things you are holding in the palm of your hand and how you might best live them.
Yeah. I think there's two parts to this, how I look at it. Wanting in terms of growing and wanting in terms of having. And I say wanting in terms of growing because as people who are determined to scale up and elevate ourselves, people who are persistent with reaching their goals, sometimes we set a goal and we achieve it and we want to achieve something even better. And so I look at it from that perspective as well, where we probably might not necessarily be where we're at a certain point in time and we're trying to get there. So we're working hard for it because we want to achieve that goal. And then there's also the wanting in terms of having. Perhaps you may not have something that you want, a car. You may not have your better half, and you want for that to happen. But it also takes taking a step back and realizing that where you're at is not necessarily where you're always going to be. It's about being patient. It's about appreciating the moment that you're in and also giving yourself that opportunity to thrive in that moment.
I just think it all comes back to gratitude. I think, you know, we spend so much time focusing on the opportunities missed and the opportunities spent that we want to pursue. And we very rarely take the moment to just acknowledge and be grateful for what we do have today. I'm sure you're living this right now. We were just talking. You have a big adventure coming up, a huge accomplishment that all of Belize is so proud. And I know because you're such a driven young man that you're already thinking next step. And sometimes it just means taking a moment to see, look at the work I put in and look where it has taken me. Right.
Yeah. It's about appreciating the journey and not necessarily trying to jump ahead of the game.
Yeah. And you know, I think a lot of times from the out, you know, people kind of look at it and say, oh, well, it's settling for mediocrity. I think taking a moment to be grateful and taking a moment to kind of have that for yourself, it doesn't mean that you have relinquished whatever it is that you want to move towards. It's just acknowledging the achievements along the way. We do it with birthdays too. You know, you got a big birthday coming up. It's like, 23 doesn't feel like 25. You know, like 27, I'm almost 30. It's every year is an achievement. Another year that you've been blessed with life around this earth. So that's the eye opener for this morning. All right, so we got to get moving into our weather update for today, and we're going to be finding out exactly what we can. All right, Actually, we don't have our weather update for today. Of course, there, it's ready. All right, so let's find out what we can expect in our weather for today.
Good morning. A relatively moist environment prevails over the area. The 24-hour forecast is for skies to be sunny with some cloudy spells today and partly cloudy to cloudy tonight. A few showers and thunderstorms will occur mostly over northern and inland areas today and then mostly over southern parts of the country tonight. Otherwise, showers and thunderstorms will be isolated. High temperatures today will peak near 88 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 90 inland, and 78 in the hills. Low temperatures tonight will range from a warm 81 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 76 inland, and 68 in the hills. Winds over the open sea will blow from the east at 5 to 15 knots today, and sea conditions will be light chop. Winds are expected to shift to blow from the east and southeast at 10 to 20 knots with higher gusts tonight, and sea conditions will become choppy to rough at times tonight. High tide will occur at 7:01 this morning, followed by low tide at 2:44 this afternoon. The sun rose at 5:23 this morning and will set at 6:31 this evening. The moon will set at 5 minutes to 4 this afternoon and will rise at 3:17 tomorrow morning. The outlook for Wednesday and Wednesday night is for isolated showers or isolated thunderstorms developing, except for a few more occurring over the south during the night. In the tropical weather outlook, at 6 this morning, Tropical Storm Elsa was centered near latitude 24.5 degrees north, longitude 82.6 degrees west, or about 55 miles west of Key West, Florida. Elsa was moving to the north-northwest at 12 miles per hour with maximum sustained winds of 60 miles per hour. Elsewhere in the North Atlantic, Caribbean Sea, and Gulf of Mexico, tropical cyclone formation is not expected during the next couple of days. Please be advised that the National Meteorological Service will be having its 9th National Climate Outlook Forum virtually this Thursday, July 8, 2021, starting at 9 a.m. The general public can view this event live on our Facebook page. And that ends this morning's weather report and forecast from the National Meteorological Service.
All right.
Yeah.
There you have it. That's our weather update for today.
And it seems it's going to be very warm.
Yes, it is, even at night. But, you know, I do want to say, of course, that we are still keeping in mind our brothers and sisters in Cuba as they're facing the effects of Elsa at this time.
Yeah, certainly we don't need to see any tropical storms or hurricanes in our side of the region at all right now. We are still in the process of recovering from all the floods last year and just bouncing back from the effects of that. And so we continue to be thankful that we are so blessed.
Yeah, and while we're thankful, we still have to be prepared.
Right.
So do keep in mind, you know, we're paying attention to what happens in other parts of the Caribbean. There's always the potential for a storm to develop in our area, or we can come under threat. So always, you know, try to spend some time to put together those hurricane plans if you haven't gotten one in gear as yet.
Yeah.
All right, but we got to get moving into our show for today.
And the first discussion this morning that we're going to be joined by the Minister of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, and we're going to be talking about the Maya land rights case. That's
right. And the second part of our show, we're going to be talking about the Welcome Resource Center. Of course, they are reaching a milestone, 8 years. Yeah. And they definitely offer an exceptional service to Belizeans in the city. And we're going to find out more about how they've been surviving through COVID and some of the accomplishments they've made so far.
And the third and final segment will be about how do we prepare cheese boards. If you're like me, love having cheese boards at family functions. And so certainly join us for the third segment as well.
All right, we got the owner of I Love Grazing Boards who's going to be teaching us how you can make your little cheese board at home. Everybody's encouraged to stay home. And so that's going to be the final part of our show for today. We're going to take a break, but before we do, we got a birthday shout out.
And we say happy birthday to Warner Taylor,
Oh.
Fort B-Day, and she's also Marlene's biggest fan.
Oh, Warner, we hope you have a great day today. And that greeting comes from all of us here at Channel 5 and Open Your Eyes and Your Family. We're going to take that break now, and when we come back, we're going to be joined by Minister Dolores Valderramas Garcia. So please stay tuned.
It's a fact that with Smart, you get truly unlimited everything. Only with Smart, you get unlimited data anytime. While with the other guy, it's only double data on weekends. With unlimited data every day with Smart, there's no need to wait. So, it's a fact that our unlimited plans beat the competition. Stop being measured and told when to use your data and get unlimited talk, text, and data. Experience the true unlimited plans with Smart. That's a fact. Make the switch and live smart.
Good morning, sweetie. It's time for school.
Are you a teacher or public sector employee who is thinking of owning your new home? Get the keys to your new home with Belize Bank's all-inclusive mortgage, the best financing option in Belize for your new home purchase or construction. Inclusive of all mortgage-related fees, no down payment, affordable terms, amazingly low interest rates. Visit our nearest branch to speak to one of our financial advisors to discuss how you can be one step closer to owning your new home. Some conditions apply.
Belize Commercial Laundry and Linens is a new, automated, state-of-the-art and safety-engineered commercial laundry facility in Belize. Previously a subsidiary of the Belize Dry Cleaners, the company moved into its new facility in February 2021, offering a full array of top-quality laundry and linen services for Belize's healthcare and commercial sectors countrywide, including hotels, resorts, and restaurants. Our cleaning process begins when soiled laundry arrives at the designated unloading bay. Color-coded bins and carts are weighed and recorded for final output verification. Equipped with full personal protective equipment, our team sorts incoming laundry by soil type and classification before loading into large industrial washers. Each state-of-the-art washer is pre-programmed to control automatic chemical dispensing and injection systems, water temperature, and wash formulas, guaranteeing cleaning efficiency, maximum and consistent soil removal, laundry disinfection, and sanitization. Washing machines are sanitized after each load, and carts used to transport soiled linens are sanitized in a dedicated cart washroom and stored before reuse. Clean laundry is transferred to a separate laundry area via lift for inspection. Linens such as flat sheets, fitted sheets, pillowcases, scrubs, tablecloths, and napkins go through the Chicago Powerhouse, an automated high-efficiency, all-inclusive ironer that increases sanitization by ironing with temperatures of up to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Combined with the Chicago Skyline high-speed folder, it produces crisply ironed, consistently folded, and stacked linens ready for packaging. Linens with strings such as medical gowns or bulky and oversized items such as towels, blankets, and pillows are dried in large industrial dryers and folded using the Air Chicago Elite folder. Linens are then assembled, stacked, wrapped, or bagged for delivery to our customers countrywide. In our new facility, Belize Commercial Laundry and Linens now has the capacity to iron 800 sheets an hour, process 15,000 pounds of laundry daily in one shift, and up to 25,000 pounds of laundry daily in 2 shifts, for a total of up to 650,000 pounds of commercial laundry monthly. With a 10,000-gallon backup water storage capacity, 2,500-gallon gas storage, a full building generator backup system, and a 2,000 square feet storeroom, we are able to reliably continue our operations during major emergencies and natural disasters such as hurricanes. Safety, cleanliness, and sanitization are integral to our plant layout and design. Physical barriers not only separate soil and clean laundry areas, but also separate healthcare and future hospitality and self-service laundry areas. Proper airflow and circulation eliminate the risk of cross-contamination. Work areas include color-coded floor safety markings, sanitizer dispensers, and conveniently located safety equipment. Showers and changing areas allow team members to safely transition into work and between our various laundry areas. Keeping abreast with industry standards through international association memberships, Belize Commercial Laundry and Linens is able to respond and adapt quickly to emerging challenges in the laundry industry, including the current COVID-19 pandemic. Our team receives comprehensive and continued laundry processing, infection control, and personal development training, both locally and internationally. Belize Commercial Laundry and Linens is a shining example of a leading local company operating at world-class standards and enhancing health and safety at a time when it is most critically needed. For more information on how we can serve you, contact us at telephone 227-3396 or info@belizelaundry.com.
Today's COVID update is brought to you by Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price but stay for the service.
And welcome back. We are joined this morning by Minister Dolores Valderramos Garcia. Good morning and thank you for joining us, Minister.
It's a pleasure to be here. Good morning.
Good morning. Minister, one of the topics of discussion that I'd like to start off with that has been a buzz around news spaces and in the public arena is that of the Maya land rights case. I want to first start off by saying that it was a huge victory for the Maya people in the ruling that came from the Chief Justice, Michelle Arana. Speak to us a bit about the government's position on the ruling.
Okay, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, we learned of the ruling of Chief Justice Michelle Arana on what we call the Halakte case. Now, it was in the pipeline about 5 years or so, but she gave a very solid ruling in favor of the claimants. And basically, it is something that we have to put it in our pipe and smoke it, as you would say, you know. Of course, the government is looking at appealing quantum, to say the very least, because it's a huge amount. And then in addition, there may be issues that arose in terms of certain positions that she took. I wasn't familiar with what was happening during the hearing, but clearly the judge felt that there were breaches of the right to be consulted. And like I say, we have to make sure that we take that into full account, because if we do not, then we will begin to be slapped with multiple lawsuits. So we have to be very, very careful. Now, let me begin to say then that the consent order of the Caribbean Court of Justice back in 2015 is very far-reaching. And now, some 6 years later, I would never say there's been no progress, but there's been little progress, because in our view, and clearly we're the new administration, in our view, in many regards, the previous administration were kicking the can down the road, as would be the usual parlance, you know. However, let me hasten to say that some strides were made. There was an agreement in 2018, and also there is a look at what you call the land tenure policy, right? So we're looking at those kinds of things. We hit a small glitch in that the view of our administration is that we are now at a stage where we are going beyond the policy as such. We believe we're at an implementation stage. But the Maya Leaders Alliance and the Toledo Alcaldes Association and their spokespeople are insisting that we bring the policy back to the table. So our government has absolutely no difficulty with that, you know? So let me see if I can get into, and stop me, please.
No, I wanted to just step back for a moment, because I also think that a critical part of the conversation is kind of understanding from you and the government's perspective that essentially you're picking up the mantle from what was initiated before. And it's interesting because it is a ruling against the government in a time where this administration made the decision to create the Indigenous Affairs portfolio, which you now hold.
Indeed.
And where you had only just recently appointed a new representative in Greg Chuck in kind of leading the charge with the Maya Land Rights Commission. So now being put in the position where you will appeal a ruling, how does this fare off in what was seen as kind of a pro-Indigenous movement administration, now having to go back to court against them?
Well, it's two separate cases altogether. Remember that the 2015 judgment is a consent order,
yes,
which we are beginning to get to the point of trying to implement. But the Halaktek case in and of itself is something that we have to take on its own merits. So I would say there's no difficulty there. The points now that are on the table are the points of representation. What is the representation? What is the true issue of the representation of the Maya people? Now, government has absolutely no difficulty with the Maya Leaders Alliance and the Holy Ancho Society and the Toledo Alcaldes Association as entities that appealed first of all, you had the ruling of Chief Justice Conte way back in 2007, going back into history, and then coming right up with appeals to the Court of Appeal. And then the government of Belize, the then government of Belize, which binds this government, made an agreement and said, okay, we are going to recognize Maya customary land tenure and customary rights, which are not absolute, but which put the government in a position of having to come to terms with it. So you have the Toledo Alcaldes Association as appellants in the Maya consent order of the Caribbean Court of Justice. But one of the issues that there is some contention now, and government will do our very best to work it out. One of the issues of contention right now is the issue of representation. Is the Toledo Alcaldes Association the sole voice of the Maya people of the South? Again, let me hasten to repeat, we have no difficulty with them having been the appellants in the case and the ruling, and we will respect that absolutely and fully. However, there are other groupings of Maya people in the South. We have the Toledo Maya Women's Council, the Toledo Maya Cultural Council, the Kekchi Council of Belize. We have Satim as well, that is at the table. And then also, and we were reminded about this because we did have a ministerial meeting yesterday, also we have the village councils. And the chairman, because in Maya villages of the South you have alcalde and second alcalde, and then you have village council and chairman who we must also respect. So the point of the government, and we are not conflating the two issues, we recognize the Toledo Alcaldes Association as having been the appellants, and we will deal with them with all engagement and respect. But the other issue that we must bring to the table as a government, as a responsible government, is that there cannot be one sole voice. Like I say, no disrespect to Ms. Christina Koch and Mr. Pablo Miss and the alcaldes, ex-alcaldes, etc. But in terms of representation of communities, it's like a political party. You have your executive, but what is your supreme decision-making body? Your convention. in which you have your delegates vote. Now, make that analogy and put it to the villages of Toledo. The alcalde.
Wouldn't that lead you back to the alcalde? Because, and I want us
Yes.
to be clear for viewers as
So-
well.
so no, certainly,
We have such
certainly.
an interesting construct in the South that has gone unrecognized for a long time.
Absolutely, yeah.
where-
And the system of the
Where-
alcalde system.
that the alcalde system has been acknowledged and it has been allowed to function
To
within
function.
Mayan
Right,
villages where
right.
the Mayan communities, the villagers in the Mayan communities are able to elect who their leader is, which is the alcalde.
Right.
So essentially, and there is still, based on the construct of the country itself, there are village councils as well. And somehow, over the years, they've been able, not all the time work smoothly, but majority of the time the system has
They've been able to
has
work.
been functioning.
Let me finish my analogy,
ahead.
though,
Yeah.
that you have your political party and your decision making. Now, we completely recognize and respect the customary issues of having the alcalde system. But remember that an alcalde, because, well, it's mostly, I guess it's mostly men, I don't know if she alcaldes, but the alcalde, if you're going to be making decisions, especially in regard to consultation with the community, have to talk to the community. The association as an association cannot say that you speak for everybody without consulting with individual Maya villages, all 39 of them, and then going to the village with a proposal and saying, look, this company wants to do forestry, logging, etc., or this company wants to make a development that may affect certain streams running through certain land. And it is the issue of consultation that we are looking at, Now, our commissioner is very, very, very versed with all of those issues. But let me say that it is still a learning experience for our entire country, because when you talk about customary land tenure and certain customary rights, so many people, it's difficult for us to wrap our heads around what those customary land rights are. No, that does not take away private land ownership, but it is an issue of needing to balance often competing interests. And I believe that it is necessary for us to be frank with the Belizean people and to say that when we try to put those interests together, there will need to be compromise.
It's
Yes,
unfortunate,
please.
Minister, that successive governments have to take on the burden of previous administrations. However, I think Christina publicly stated that both administrations, both UDP and PUP, have seemingly not respected the FPIC protocols, which is the Free Prior Informed Consent Protocol.
We're working on it right now.
Right.
Yes.
Because I do see that the government is appealing and they're also getting advice from the CCJ.
No, please, we're not appealing. We're appealing the Halakte case.
The
I have to
Halakte
stop
case,
you.
yes,
I have to
yes.
stop you.
And the quantum.
Right.
That has nothing to do with the FPIC protocol.
Yeah.
We're working on it right now. Like I say, we had a ministerial meeting yesterday,
Yes.
and we're working assiduously to make sure that we have something that Cabinet can approve and that we can share with all the partners and get back to reporting to the court by the 26th of July, which we agreed to on the 17th of June.
Just to finish the thought.
Please, yes.
We have seen time and time again somewhat of a political footballing as it comes to when it refers to the Mayan land rights. We've seen when the United Democratic Party is in power, the representation of the Maya people has been particularly lawyers and attorneys who are attached to the opposing political party and vice versa. Because we currently see that the current AG has to separate herself from the current case, and she was the representative of the people
yes.
before.
And she has.
What is
she
your
entirely
position,
has, yes.
What is your position on finding a way to sort of stabilize that sort of bipolarity of this entire issue?
Well, I think it's a matter of being frank with everybody. We're not there yet in terms of the FPIC protocol that is accepted by everyone, but we're close, as the judges recognized when we were reporting. The judges of the CCJ now have a sort of a supervisory capacity, and they would like to see progress. I mean, please, government is not here. This government, please let me say this, is not here to obstruct. We've heard that term. And it is unfortunate because I think that the MLA spokeslady and the people that work along with her are well aware that this government, we need to put our feet on the ground. We need to wrap our heads around all the various issues. So within 2 or 3 months of a commissioner having been appointed who is really working his tail off, if I could put it that way, to accuse us now of being obstructionist is a little bit unfortunate, because all efforts are being made to engage all the parties at the table. I think that perhaps the difficulty that is had by the people who have been there at the table all along is that when you see other people saying, hey, let me be a part of it as well. And you know, those persons might say, but you never there 10 years ago, or were you there 15 years ago? But the point is that I think as a government, we have the responsibility to be as inclusive as possible. So, but let me hasten to repeat that we're very close to having the FPIC protocol worked out, which means that we must consult with the communities. Now, there are various approaches. Do we need 80% of the community to say yes? Do we need 50% plus one? And remembering, kind gentleman and lady, remembering that we have to bring development to the Toledo district. The case, the consent order of the CCJ cannot be seen to be obstructing, since that's the word, cannot be seen to be stopping progress, because many people in the South, as we were reminded by ministers yesterday and the 2 Southern representatives, many people in the South want an elite title, they want a lease, they want to know that jobs will be available. And so it's a complex issue, but we are going to continue to work hard, but remembering that the voices of the South must be all heard. Government must take all of those voices into account. We have a responsibility to do so, and we will continue reaching out. Like I said, there have been some glitches and the accusation of us being obstructionist, but let me hasten to say to the Belizean people and to everyone that we will never try to do that.
So you use the word complex, and I think that's a very key factor in all of this. And when we talk about how, going back to the affirmation of the Maya customary land rights, how that was landmarked, it really is a part of setting the tone moving forward with all engagements, because it means it's the first time, and you're kind of charting a path as to how we will move forward, both the Mayan communities as well as whatever government they're engaging in. But that's a part of the challenge. If we are to step back from what's currently in front of us and we see what is taking place, there's a trust issue. There's a deep-seated trust issue. One, that the case had to go to court all the way to the CCJ with the government. Administrations have changed, I understand that. The political parties in charge have changed. But from the perspective of those who are engaged or speaking on behalf of the Mayan communities, they're accustomed to hearing, we're close. They're accustomed to hearing, we're working on it. They're accustomed to saying, we're going to do, and not being able to see the results in the timely manner that they would have wanted. So how do you overcome that trust barrier that is integral in being able to chart a way forward?
By passing the FPIC protocol, by continuing to engage with the communities, by continuing to be inclusive, and by continuing to show that we mean business and not just talk. Because I'm afraid that 6 years down the road from 2015, we're not yet in the place that we would want to be. So again, Marlene and Brighton, I was going to say Jordan, Brighton, Brighton, sorry Brighton, the volleyball star, no? Yes. We're not where we want to be, but I am here to say to you the commitment of government. I have said this umpteen times. We may not always agree, but we will agree to engage. For example, to give you the example of where government needs to walk a fine line, is the boundary issues that have arisen between Barranco and Midway. You know, now they're in the news because of COVID, but we have had 2 meetings. The commissioner had a meeting, and then I was also in the second meeting. Very passionate views, very, very passionate views, because both communities are communities of indigenous people of Belize, you see. And, you know, I always said, well, maybe we should have a friendship park or something so that you don't have this boundary dispute. Because in the very passionate meeting that we had at the Father Ring Parish Hall in Punta Gorda, the Midway people were saying these are the boundaries, and then the Barranco people come up and say these are the boundaries, and never the twain shall meet. But we have to try to find a way. Government can't take sides, but what we want to do is to facilitate, to see how those communities can try to reach to some compromise, so that the things do not have to be contentious. Brighton.
Let's step back and get some clarity here.
Yes.
So what is being proposed in moving forward as to what the government is considering to be free and informed consent?
I think a consultation. There's a bit of bureaucracy involved, because the protocol defines what is free, what is prior, what is informed, and what is consent. And also some technicalities arise, because when a proponent, as it is put, approaches a community and says, I want to engage in forestry, and I want to, I want to have this development project and that kind of thing, whether it is a government proponent or a private individual, but government has the responsibility to make sure that the consultation takes place. Then you bring the community together. You make sure that the community understand what's happening, because not everybody, not all the Maya people talk English. We have to translate sometimes. We have to look at what is acceptable in terms of how that community feels. Different communities might have different views. And so it is a process, a little bit bureaucratic at times, yes, but it is a process that we need to go through, because the consent of the community needs to be sought and obtained before things go forward. And that is why I say that it is a matter of government also putting in place some administrative and the legal framework. We're going to need international help and experts. We're going to need very sound and experienced heads being put together to see how we do that administrative and legal framework. Because you might have a village that says, well, you see all of this land here, we're going to use it for the good of the community. There is a term called fahina, when the community comes together and says, okay, this is what we're going to do to help somebody build their house, or to help us reap certain plants that have been put there at the milpa and things like that. And so it is a customary way of the village coming together. Now, some of that, maybe it is being lost right now, but for the people who really understand it in the individual communities, that is the way that they would like to move ahead, and that is the way that the government has to recognize.
The consent issue is I guess, where it's going to get tricky. I
It
think you
might get a little
posed two
tricky.
options.
Yes.
You said 50 plus 1 versus, I think you said 80%.
Yeah, those are figures that have been thrown out, but we believe that we can get to fairly much of an agreement as we go along in the individual cases. We don't believe that we should put 90%, 80%, or 75% in the protocol itself, but we do believe that when we consult with the communities, that you pretty much get a consensus.
But what you would want to, what I'm hearing from you, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is that the intention moving forward is to communicate or consult directly with community members and not through associations like the Toledo Alcalde associations.
It can be both. It can be both. And we can find ways to make sure that everybody knows what is going on. You know, yes, we can, everybody knows what, because remember, like I'm giving you an example, Satim has been chosen by some of the southern communities to be their representative and their voice. Conejo and I think Graham Creek, Crique Sarco, for example, where we had that issue the other day where a cease and desist order was issued because we requested of the Forestry Department within the Ministry of Sustainable Development that they take a little step back and have a better consultation with the community, because I think they were going down a road that was not good, if I could put it that way. Because it is seen now that government will be needing to have the technical groups of our ministries. See, the line ministries that are involved, we have lands, of course, Minister Cordell, we have Minister Landy, Sustainable Development, we have the Attorney General's ministry, we have the Foreign Ministry, but we also...
Local government,
we cannot, and this is the point I'm getting at, we absolutely cannot leave out the ministers of the South, and because they are the elected representatives of the people. And Minister Oscar Requena will be the first one to tell you that the issue is complex, but we have to try to work it. And we've been consulting with the communities, Marlene, and we have sat down in San Miguel, we've sat down in San Pedro, Colombia, in Big Falls. As a matter of fact, many of the people in Big Falls got together and said, you know what, we don't really want this Maya customary land right thing. We want our private ownership of our land.
Let me step back for a moment there, because I think that's an interesting point that you raised when you talk about villages wanting to make a decision as to who will be their representation.
Right.
Where do you, I mean, let's look at this realistically. Oftentimes when you have perhaps something that you want, you go to one person and say, please take this up for me, and they don't want to do it, or they're not in agreement, or it doesn't fit the rules. I'll say, well, I'll try this one. And when you start to get NGOs involved, when you do have actual leadership structures in place, like alcaldes and village councils, you know, you may be working with even more entities, because there are quite a few NGOs in the South as well.
Well, let's get to it. Let's get to it. I don't know that I could say anything different from what I've said before in terms of us having to engage with the various groupings, but with as much respect as we possibly can.
Right.
You know.
I think one of the issues from the general populace is that we don't see that there is this divide and conquer within the Maya community based on representation for particular cases. Now, the government is appealing the Halakta case in terms of the quantum. Speak to us a bit about whether this is a smart financial decision, considering that the CCJ was the entity that gave the order back in 2015, and that is what our domestic courts use to judge their ruling.
Smart financial decision on whose part, though? The judge or the government to appeal? Because no, it's serious money we're talking about, guys, and the government has a responsibility to look at all the issues. Like I say, I am not familiar with what happened in the hearings of the case, but the judge made certain findings, and clearly our Crown Counsels will have to look at it. Well, mainly Assistant Solgen Samantha Matut-Tucker, who is really on the matter and will be looking at the various issues that came up and the reasons for the judgment. Because if on appeal, the lawyers have to pick it apart and see what actually went on. But that's not to say that the government is going to be silly now and want to run roughshod. I mean, putting a road, we can't run roughshod over any community. We've gone past that now, and we have to get to the point of real engagement and some progress. You know.
So but, to be clear, going forward, the appeal, and that's why I guess it's really important we have this conversation, because when people hear an appeal, it's almost like the Indigenous Affairs Ministry is now going against the indigenous
Not really.
people.
No.
So
no,
when you
because the indigenous affairs portfolio will continue in terms of what we regard as our remit. Because remember, we have to remember Garifuna communities as well, and also the reaching out to the various Maya communities. But government will have to look at the case, and like I say, allow us to keep it a little bit separated, because our work of the Indigenous Affairs portfolio will not stop. That will not stop. And we are entirely committed to making progress, even where we have certain differences of opinion with the MLA and the TAA leaders in terms of how we're going to approach the representation of communities and the implementation of the CCJ ruling. But we will work it out. We will work it out.
Do you think it'll put a strain on the relationship and the work that you're trying to do?
It may, but I think if we get some good advice, sometimes when you're right in the middle of something, you can't see the large picture. It reminds me of the little story of the little tiny men who they were surrounding an elephant. And one of them was holding the tail and said, well, the elephant is like a rope. And the other one holding the leg was saying, but the elephant is more like a ball. And so if your perspective is a particular perspective because you're only seeing one small aspect of the picture, you may not be able to see the global picture. But I am sure that with the ministerial committee that we have, and as I keep repeating, we met yesterday and we are absolutely committed. And then what our ministerial committee will do in acting as a guiding body to the implementation process, we will instruct the technical people, for example, forestry and lands and everybody, that it has to be a different ball game now. It really has to be a different ball game. If you allow me, the previous commissioner, I use the word unfortunate because as the previous commissioner and understanding the consent order, it was, it's like switching on a dime. You now represent a private owner and then you say, oh, well, private ownership will trump customary land right. You can't do that. You can't, you just really, really cannot do that. And this is where I must pause to acknowledge the work that Greg Chuck has been doing, because he, like I say, his knowledge goes absolutely all the way back, and coming forward, he has been able to really, really, really out some fires, meet with communities, reach out, especially in that same Indian Creek matter that I alluded to with the previous commissioner, doing a good job, but also making sure that we balance the
One of the things that Ms. Christina Cox stated publicly was that it is not the government's duty to dictate who represents the Maya people. What is your position on that statement that she made?
Far would it be from us to ever try to dictate? I think that's an erroneous take. We are not dictating at all. The position we are taking is that in being inclusive, we do not believe that we should allow the spokespeople for particular organizations to say that they are the sole representatives of everybody. That is simply the position we are taking. One of inclusivity. We will never dictate, but we will listen to the parties and we will invite people. Maybe invite is the wrong word. We will accept people who are saying, I would like to be at the table as well. That is really the position of the government. That is the position of the government. Like I say, it's a pity that you have a lot of personalities involved. You have a lot of different attitudes, different positions being taken on certain things. But I think, again, I say as a government and as a cabinet, I'll be attending at 9, we will be looking at the larger issues, and one of the issues that we will be looking at is the issue of resources. And we will need international experts and consultants to assist us in coming up with the administrative and the legal frameworks. But we will, there is no way, that, like I said, the ship has sailed in terms of trying to move back or try to back off from the consent order of the court. And so all we can do now is our very best to make sure that the implementation goes forward.
I love when you talk about being able to expand the view, because let's expand the view.
Yeah.
Because there is what is taking place in terms of Indigenous affairs and moving forward with appealing the halakha while simultaneously trying to execute the consent order.
Yes.
Right,
But you have a public perception as well, as a politician, as a representative.
Absolutely, yes.
And land is always a touchy issue.
Very.
When you put it into perspective, and especially now that we start to see it's the Garifuna community coming together, they're talking about looking at their own customary land rights as well. How do you communicate what is taking place in the South and the significance of being able to find a resolution to the broader public? Because we do hear very concerning perspectives from the wider public when they look at what is taking place in the South.
Well, in terms of the Garifuna communities, we need to engage in ways that we can assist in development. But the stubborn fact is that the consent order is for the Maya people, so but that doesn't mean that we don't have the responsibility to reach out to other groups. And so going forward, I think it is a matter of engaging not only our Indigenous people, but the general and the wider Belizean public who may be perceiving that we've given away the shop to the Maya people. Because I don't think that has occurred. What really has occurred is two parties coming together and saying, look, now that we have recognized this customary land rights and tenure, we have to find a way that we're going to get to a modus vivendi, if I could put it that way.
And when you talk about the role of Indigenous affairs, do you see that also as kind of an education tool for the wider public to have them understand why Indigenous rights exist when we talk about First Nation people and what they are fighting for?
I embrace that role, Marlene. When I look at what has been happening in Canada now, in the province of British Columbia in particular, where First Nations children were taken away from their families because they wanted to educate the savages, and the damage that did. I mean, it is even being called cultural genocide. And we in Belize could never get to that kind of point, or even want to look at it in a way that would ever try to excuse that kind of thing. Because the rights of Indigenous people have been recognized internationally. We have signed on to these protocols and conventions and things like that. And so it is for us now to try our best to explain to the broader public that because there are rights, it doesn't take away other people's rights, but it enriches the experience of our country as we strive for development.
Now, in moving the conversation a bit forward, we have seen, and this falls under your portfolio as well, Minister, that there has been an increase in the poverty line to approximately 52%. I stand to be corrected.
Let me just correct you though. The issue of poverty not only fall under human development alone.
However, because a great deal of the responsibility falls on your lap.
We have to look at the social safety nets and things like that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
What is the position from your ministry in order to start addressing some of the issues that we're facing?
Okay, well, first of all, there is really no substitute for putting our people back to work. And you might say that I'm being a broken record here and repeating myself, but even before COVID, poverty had increased in a matter of maybe 15 years or so, especially the last 10 years. Poverty increased from 40-odd% up to 52% before COVID.
These numbers are 2018.
The numbers probably would be staggering right now. But the approach that government is taking is that we're not going to forget our poorest and neediest, but the thrust has to be to open up the economy safely. And I think that the balance between, say, the tourism ministry and the health ministry, we work very, very hard on that in government. And we hope that we are taking the right approach. Now, the food assistance, by the way, we don't call it pantry or grocery anymore. So I have to heap coals on top of my own head on that one, because the terms have changed now completely. Yeah. We will have a small food assistance program going forward between July and December. But as you can see from the budget is not a secret. There was only $3 million voted. So you do the math, and you will see that we may only be able, as area representatives, to assist with maybe 200 or 300 grocery bags or the food assistance to our constituencies during that 6-month period. Yeah. But let me say that our ministry is committed to the Boost program, and we will try to do that as best as we can. There's something called Boost Plus as well, which is more of a wraparound service and not just the conditional cash transfer. But I have to say that those programs, even though we will not take them away, cannot be a substitute for the stimulation of the economy and the focus on what it is that we need to do for our women, our children, families. Going forward. Families is in the name of the ministry, so we have to focus on the advancement of the family, but the key will have to be economic and putting people back to work.
Do you think that you're now equipped to be able to ensure that perhaps you can get additional resources? I think the latest poverty study, which again, to be clear, is pre-COVID. It's 2018 numbers that we're seeing an 11% increase in poverty in this country. 1 in every 2 Belizean is considered
will be
poor.
Walking down the street poor.
2018. We can all guess or estimate that those numbers are definitely
higher
post-COVID.
Yes.
So do you think that you're in a better position now, especially to ensure that your ministry can get the resources necessary? Because yes, poverty is not the direct responsibility of human development, but human development is ensuring people get their basic needs met.
Precisely. Well, again, the social safety net will have to continue with the programs that I've described. But I do have to say, and it's obvious, but that things are difficult financially. And the government we've had to tighten our belt. We've had to tighten our belt a little bit. We have tightened our belt across the board. And, I may be preempting you, but this is where the United States, having ranked us for the last time on what they call the Tier 2 watch list, they have looked at us and said, we do not want to see you cut the budget for fighting trafficking in persons. As a country, Marlene and Brighton, we've done a lot in terms of training of people in the whole anti-trafficking issues. We've done a lot in terms of bringing groups together, having the immigration people know what's going on, having a judge who is designated to listen to trafficking in persons cases. We really have done a lot. The unfortunate thing is that the U.S. Embassy seem exclusively to be looking at the issue of how many convictions that you've been able to get. We can't pick convictions out of the sky.
I wanted to ask about what are the indicators that they're using to measure effectiveness for trafficking in persons. And trafficking in persons, it's been very clearly described. This is modern day slavery. This is essentially taking people and forcing them into different types of work. And robbing them of their dignity. For the longest time, though, Belize has taken what is called the victim-centered approach. In other words, when you identify a victim of trafficking, you work with them to be able to renew their sense of dignity as much as you can in those circumstances. Would you say that, in fact, the challenge that we've had with the trafficking in persons report coming out of the U.S. Embassy is that we're using different measure sticks?
What we need to do, Marlene, and please let me hasten to say that it's not a little country cowing to a big country because the big country is holding a stick over us. Trafficking is everybody's problem, and we all have to work at it. What I think, though, is that we must admit that where the coordination to achieve those convictions is concerned, that we have fallen down a bit there. Well, not a bit, but we need to improve. Let me put it that way. We need to improve. It may not be to our liking that the US seem to be laser focused on the convictions. It may not be to our liking, but I think if we put our heads together, we can do better. The proposal that was made when we met with Madam DPP, Minister Karim and I met with the DPP, and there was a very frank discussion, and we believe that going forward we'll have to have a higher level of coordination, maybe somebody like a trafficking czar, that kind of thing. But the three key ministries working and going forward will need to be, well, not ministries, but it'll have to be human development, the police, and then the DPP's office. Because I think that if we strengthen that coordination, we will probably be able to have a better result. Sometimes the trafficking victims, although we're trying to mind them, they might pick up and go back to their country of origin, and then where is your ability to prosecute successfully in court? A suggestion that came up is that maybe there can be video testimony, because it's
sensitizing the system so that you can be able to move towards conviction.
And one of the things that the US have flagged consistently is what they call police complicity.
Yes.
No, so we have to improve on that. And you see, although the US officials have been pressed by us to give us sort of like numbers, statistics, what they do, they seem to work anecdotally in terms of reports coming from NGOs and other observers. It's not like we want to accept that there are spies all over the place, but the fact of the matter is that Belize is small. People talk, people know what is happening. We know that there is trafficking still going on, but the trafficking went a little bit underground with the closure of bars and restaurants and nightclubs and like that. But we have to make sure that we can have our finger, even in COVID times, at seeing where you might have sexual exploitation, but also labor exploitation. And as a matter of fact, the feeling is that there may be more labor exploitation than sexual exploitation going on. But again, how do you measure that? And I guess the way the US look at this is that the only way you can measure it is if you're getting the convictions. And so it's like, it's almost like you're in a catch-22 sometimes. But I don't think that we can throw up our hands. We have to say, look, this is our difficulty. This is our problem. We have to work at it. And like I say, we only have, it's like being pregnant and having a baby. We only have 9 months. We'll either go up or we'll go down. So we really have to put some work.
And there's an investment in resources on either end. Because what I think people don't know is when a victim is identified, the state is responsible for providing full care. And that means housing, schooling, everything in between.
Correct.
So there is a cost associated, whether you look at revamping the system for better conviction, but of course maintaining, taking care of victims identified.
And the trafficking victims are not just from foreign countries. It can be right here. It can be right here, because people, there will always be sex tourists wanting to come in and exploit, and there will be people who will want to accommodate them and provide the services.
We are we're running out of time so quickly, and I want to get to one more issue because it ties closely to some of the work that you've been doing. I know you're going to be doing a media tour of Youth Hostel. I think it's this week,
Thursday,
and you also have the Community Rehabilitation Department under Human Development. Let's talk about the 11th Amendment from your perspective, especially where one of the concern is that this amendment communicates to the people that you're working with in hostel and CRD that rehabilitation is not validated in the wider society.
I don't think we can go that far. As the Prime Minister said yesterday, we're looking at wrongdoing. at the highest level of people who wish to represent our country. And if there has been corruption, and that's the main aspect of the amendment, where there is corruption and wrongdoing in high office, we have to flag that. And I repeat what he said, that if we are saying that if you commit a wrong in Belize and in the Commonwealth, then you can't serve, but if you were in the States, or if you were in Romania, or, you know, if you were in Guatemala, then it's not even. It's a matter of balancing. It's a matter of balancing that aspect of where a wrongdoing is committed with flagging that at the highest level we must hold our public officials to account. I would never say that our government does not believe in rehabilitation. We have a whole department that looks at protecting children. And by the way, since you've given me the opportunity with raising the issue of the hostel, we are going to be working on legislation that will repeal the Certified Institutions Act, so, which really sort of penalizes children in difficult circumstances by branding them as uncontrollable behavior and locking them away. That is not our approach. We, as a matter of fact, I have signed a declaration within our ministry, but of course we have to make it legal now with the legislation and then whatever SI would follow. We are looking at removing that certified institution stigma and having the hostel be considered a residential care facility. That is what we're working at. We're looking at putting in place a new board and renaming it. You know, I mean, God bless whoever Princess Royal is. I think the Princess Royal is Princess Anne, if I'm not mistaken. But let's Belizeanize this thing. The Minister of Education is saying we need a Belizean president of UB. We need a Belizean name to the hostel. The physical infrastructure has been vastly improved, but we're also looking at the legislative framework, take away this business of status offenses and uncontrollable behavior, and treat our children better, and also engage with the families, because the hostel could never be a place to lock away a child, because that child may have grown up in extremely difficult circumstances, and it is being manifested in the behavior that is shown.
In circumstances they have no control over.
Precisely.
And that's where it's uncontrollable for them.
Right.
I mean, we had a whole conversation about that last time you were here. So I think that's a really great move in being able to address the issue of children being labeled uncontrollable. You know, the other conversation I think we can be able to explore, in addition to looking at changes at hostel and your perspectives on 11th Amendment. What are your thoughts on the new movement in terms of legalization of marijuana?
Well, I never smoked weed, so no. Let me be serious. I think it is something that we should take advantage of. A little bit of weed never kill anybody. I know that there will be people who will be against it, but there is a U.S. sprinter right now who, for a little bit of weed, they want to begin to disqualify her from you know, competing in the Olympics. Yeah, and that is unfortunate. That I don't think that we need to get to that. When we regularize everything, and I'm not the person to describe it, because Karim is absolutely articulate and well able to defend the all the issues that arise. But I think that if we do better regulation and we remove all the anomalies, I mean, if you could possess a little bit of weed, but somebody out there can't grow it, you know? I mean, clearly we don't want to encourage any kind of drug trafficking. I understand, for example, there's a lot of difficulty in Ambergris Caye right now with the use of cocaine by young people. You know, that is something that we have to fight against. But my belief, and Karim is your best person to speak to, my belief is that if we regulate that hemp industry and that cannabis industry, it can, our country can gain some benefit from it, because we will not take away the culture of having a little bit of ganja, having a little bit of weed, having a little bit of herb, as the Rastas call it, you know. So let's do it in the correct way, and let's support the Minister of New Growth Industries, is what I would say.
Okay. All right. And my last question is just about your recent reformation of the National Committee for Families and Children,
Into
which will
a
now be
commission.
National Commission.
Yes. We may have to look at it in terms of the actual name change, because the commission is actually a statutory body under the Families and Children's Act. And anybody can form a committee. You know, we could have a committee right here. We could say, okay, you are the president of our committee, Marlene, and Brighton, you're the vice president, and I'm the one who will do the heavy lifting. No, but seriously though, a commission is a body that has received a commission. You know, you have the noun and the verb. A commission is when you give somebody an important piece of work to do. So henceforth we will call it the Commission for Families and Children. And because of the name Families in our ministry, as you know, we have reconstituted the commission. We have been inclusive in terms of representation from Autism Belize and from PETAL, as well as the other ministerial organizations. UNICEF has been a wonderful partner to the NCFC. The leadership is really coming from Irene Palacio Morgan, and we have a good team.
Did you get any pushback, including an LGBT organization?
No, we didn't. I haven't felt any pushback where that is concerned. I think our country is at a stage now where, again, the issues of equality and inclusion have to be given real life and not just lip service, if I could put it that way. But the work continues, guys. Brighton, I know I call you Jordan. Sorry.
We'll know his name when we watch the European Volleyball.
Absolutely. What's your height, Brighton?
6'5".
Ooh, yeah.
He does a natural duck when he enters the doorway. But Minister, we covered a lot, and I appreciate you coming in this morning to be able to discuss all of it.
It's always a pleasure. You got me up from 5 o'clock.
All right, appreciate it. We're going to go ahead.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, we are going to be talking to the Welcome Resource Center as they celebrate their 8th anniversary. So please stay tuned.
This COVID update was brought to you by Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service. Working off-site doesn't mean you have to be off your game. Studies have shown that simply adding a keyboard and mouse to your laptop increases productivity by 26%. Add a monitor, and you'll be 35% more productive. At Fulltech Systems, we have what you need to enhance your remote work or e-learning experience. With devices such as headsets, video conferencing monitors, webcams, keyboards, mice, docking stations, all with the brands you trust. Keep connected with collaboration tools like Microsoft 365 Suite and Kaspersky, and perform efficiently no matter where you are. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service.
As one of the largest cable and internet providers in Belize, CBC strives to provide our customers with the highest standards of quality, value, and service in all aspects of cable TV and internet. Monitoring our systems closely, our technicians combine creative planning and state-of-the-art technology with years of experience and training to develop and provide the most reliable and advanced cable and internet service to exceed your expectations. For CBC and our team of talented engineers, technicians, and customer service representatives, delivering less than the very best is never an option.
Smart continues to expand its internet coverage countrywide to help you live a smarter life.
Our villagers are very happy. They are pleased to know that Smart went the extra mile to put a tower in our village so that our villagers can get live streams on their TVs and they can get their kids doing their online classes. I want to say to Smart, thank you for making it possible for us to get internet in Gardenia Village. We really do appreciate it.
Smart continues to take the internet and mobile services to communities across Belize. Now save even more when you bundle your Smart broadband with Smart mobile services. Smart, bringing people together.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Andrea Polanco, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes. Go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Because news is now everywhere, all the time. And so are we.
Hola, Tony.
Hey, Kevin, ¿qué onda? ¿Qué pasa?
Nada, le vine a buscar porque necesito comprar más mercancías de vasos y platos desechables para mi tienda de comestible. Me estoy quedando sin esas cosas.
No, hombre, fíjate que desde el 15 de abril no puedo importar nada de eso. Y se me acaba de terminar todo lo que tenía hace como 3 semanas.
Oye, pero nunca has estado sin esas cosas. ¿Qué está pasando?
Mira esto. Esta es la nueva ley que prohíbe todo el uso de plásticos no reutilizables. Esos son vasos, platos, cucharas, tenedores, todo eso. Desde 15 de abril de este año no he podido importar nada de eso. A partir del 15 de enero del 2021 nadie puede fabricarlo. 15 de abril 2021 nadie lo puede vender. Y a partir del 14 de julio del 2021 si alguien te agarra con eso, te multan.
Híjole, no sabía eso. Necesito cambiar algunas cosas. Les diré a mis clientes por qué esas cosas ya no están disponibles. Gracias, Antonio.
Así es, cuídate, man.
If you have a baby on the way, here is what you need to know about maternity benefit. It includes both an allowance for 14 weeks and a grant, which is a lump sum of $300. The basic requirements are: you must be employed, you must have at least 50 paid contributions, and you must have continuous contributions leading up to delivery. To apply, a licensed doctor certifies the expected date of delivery. The employer completes the salaries record. Submit your completed claim form as soon as possible. After giving birth, submit your continuation claim no later than 3 weeks after delivery. If the mother does not qualify, the father of the child may qualify for the maternity grant. Want to know more about maternity benefit or grant? Visit our website or contact any of our offices to have someone assist you. Also, be sure to visit our Facebook page and give us a like to stay informed. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
Good morning, sweetie. It's time for school.
Are you a teacher or public sector employee who is thinking of owning your new home? Get the keys to your new home with Belize Bank's all-inclusive mortgage, the best financing option in Belize for your new home purchase or construction. Inclusive of all mortgage-related fees, no down payment, affordable terms, amazingly low interest rates. Visit our nearest branch to speak to one of our financial advisors to discuss how you can be one step closer to owning your new home. Some conditions apply.
Introducing Edam A Cheese, the A+ Dutch cheese to hit the Belizean market. As the name says, it is of A-class quality, the best Dutch cheese in Belize. Edam A Cheese is creamier, less salty, and simply more delicious. Don't be left out. Get your A Cheese at a supermarket near you. A Cheese, exclusively distributed by Unitex Company Limited. Call us at 610-3626 or 610-8910. Follow us on Facebook at Unitex Belize.
And welcome back. We're joined by representatives from the Welcome Resource Center. We have with us this morning Ms. Joyce Ellis, who is the Senior Administrator, and Ms. Shirley Salgado, who is the Assistant Administrator. Ladies, good morning, and thank you for joining us on set.
Good morning.
Ms. Joyce, speak to us about what's been happening at the Welcome Resource Center and what are some of the services that the Welcome Resource Center provides?
What has been happening at the Welcome Resource Center? We're 8 years. We will be 8 years old on July 8th, so we will be 8 on 8.
Nice.
What is happening? I must say that in the initial stage, we only did one meal, the shower, the change of clothes, and relaxation from the element, a little bit of talk therapy, and some group counseling. Now we are doing 2 meals and a weekend package. Besides that, we also managed to reintegrate some of our participants back into society. And one of our things that we are big on is compliance with medication. So that's where we're at. It's a milestone for us, Brighton and Marlene, but you know what? We need to keep going.
Joyce, first of all, congratulations. I think people have no idea the amount of work that your very small team does with the participants on a daily basis. And, I can remember when you were just opening, when they were still fundraising for the building. And when you were trying to get the funds together, because it is it's donation based.
Yes, it's
You have been functioning for 8 years through the kind support of community, and it hasn't always been easy.
No.
Tell us about that part, getting the community to support in taking care of this vulnerable population.
To get the community support, it takes a lot due to stigma, because for most of them, they think that we don't want to be around those people and things like that. But what I do first, I invite them to come to the center. And while they're there and they do their interaction and their walk through and they see how the building is situated in terms of how clean it is and the behavior of the participants, then I would say, you know what, you could support by doing X, Y, Z. I know that, yes, finance is important, but if you have time, or you could just decide that you will prepare a meal for the day for us, that is also welcome. Besides getting them involved, I try to have them know that when it comes to mental illness, it's not a choice. Because people, oh, this one, they behave so bad. No, it's not a choice. I said, no one want to come and sit here and wait for someone to do something for them. Something has to be wrong in order for you to want to do that. So that's my approach to it. And then when it comes to the community, I try to get the community to own the center. And it's the same approach I use with the participants, that this is yours. So it's yours, you need to help take care of it. You need to represent it well. So, and that has been not easy, but so far so good.
Shirley, I want to get you in the conversation. Speak to us a bit about the vulnerable populations that the Welcome Resource Center works with and along, and also what it's been like throughout the COVID-19 pandemic.
Well, honestly, I would say that it hasn't been easy. I had to talk to a lot of our participants because they didn't understand the situation of the pandemic. And honestly, it was very eye-opening because coming into this job, I didn't know what I would have expected, right? But I've been there 3 years now, and I must say that I enjoy every single day of it. And getting to know different people and their background and their different mental illnesses, I get to understand it. So I just enjoy helping them, and some of them are, mentally ill, some of them are homeless, some of them are recovering addicts, some of them are deportees, so we just get to understand their situation and why they're at the center.
Right.
So tell me about your experience. The first time you went to the center and what made you think I can work there? Because that's a big part of the stigma that people have to overcome. We think we know what mentally ill people or homeless persons are, and then you get there and it's a completely different experience.
Honestly, I was shocked because the perception that people have that, oh, homeless people or mentally ill people are very aggressive and stuff. That's not the case.
Yeah.
When I went there, it was like they were so calm and they were the nicest people and they're easy to talk to. And sometimes you get like so emotional when something is wrong with them because you can tell when they're not on their good days, right?
Yeah.
And it's like you worry about them when you don't see them for a couple of days and you can't get in touch with them and stuff like that. And I always tell people, listen, this job isn't easy, but you get to understand. So my whole understanding of them has changed throughout the years since I've been there. It's like I understand where they're coming from now.
Yeah, yeah. It's and how are we doing? You know, you have hosted things like the sleep out at night. There've been fundraisers where the participants themselves dress up and attend the banquets. And you know, you've really tried to work where people can be able to recognize that that could be any one of us at any point in time. How do you think we're doing now with the level of stigma?
With the level of stigma, we're still not where I would like it to be, but it's improving, and every improvement is good. So some of the people who normally would have been saying, oh, I don't want to be around those people, and so they would give a little donation, but they still don't want to come, but they will ask about, you know, how are they doing? What about this? What about that? Can I do this? Can I do that? And then I would say, yes. I said, but I would like for you to come one day and just sit and have a conversation with one or two of our participants so that they could get a different perspective of life. Because most of the time it's myself or Shirley that would do the sit down and discussion, the staff, the other 3 staff members, because it's only 5 of us. And so I try to get other people to come and sit and discuss with them. I have managed to get one person who could have told them that I was where you at, and look at me now. So that's a plus for us.
You know, Ms. Joyce, I cannot even begin to imagine how hard it has been perhaps for you as the administrator at the Welcome Resource Center over the COVID-19 pandemic, considering the economic hardships that our entire country is facing. How have you been able to continue delivering those services considering this economic situation that we're in right now?
Believe it or not, Brighton, it's challenging. For the staff itself, I must say they're a huge support, because whatever they have at home and they don't use, we bring it to the center. So besides us working there, we also contribute financially and things like that. We have, for example, right now we are running a 3C drive, cash, canned, and clothing. It started since the 15th of June.
Okay.
So we have barrels at Brody's downtown, Brody's Northern Highway, Publix, and Bottom Dollar.
You didn't put your cash in the barrel,
and
right?
at Price and Company. No.
Be careful these days.
What we do, all the canned items you could place in the bin at Brody's, Publix, and Bottom Dollar. The clothes and cash, you could either drop it off at the center or at Price and Company, or you could deposit it in our account. Welcome Resource Center also have an account with Heritage Bank. And so you could deposit in our account. The information is already on our barrel. Our account number is 914-2511 at Heritage Bank. You could find us on Facebook at Welcome Resource Center, and we also have a website that we are working on. It's up already, so you won't see much activities on our website right now, but it's a work in progress.
Absolutely. And here, let's talk about why these are the particular needs you have. Clothing, for example, is a key part of what you offer to your participants. And I've been there myself to see how much they appreciate being able to take a shower and clean up for the day.
The clothes is important. Mostly we need male clothing, footwear, gently used underwear, and things like that. For our female, we don't have a large female population, but we do need female clothing at times. But because, again, the staff is predominantly female, we could always pull something from our closet and bring for them. Now we'll have one male person, and then their size varies. So If you bring, it's only for a set amount of persons. So the clothing, yes, male clothing is a need. Pants, t-shirt could be unisex. So we try and keep the t-shirt mostly for our males. When we talk about the canned food help us to provide that breakfast and that evening. For the ones, because we have some of them who would stay on all the way till like 2:30. No, we don't want them to leave empty-handed. So we always give them something to take with them when they leave later on in the day. And then, of course, they get their weekend package, which comprise of soda biscuit, cheese, potted meat, and chicken sausage.
Speak to us a bit about what the goal is of the Welcome Resource Center. What is it that the Welcome Resource Center would like to accomplish in, for example, the next year?
For us in the next year, what we would like to accomplish is, one, to get more of our participants reintegrated back into society, because we do have the ones that could be that can function on medication. And then another thing is to we want to do like a garden project where we could plant our own spices and so on, and we will be able to use them at the center. And also one of the other things that we want to do is to get people to come in and do some sort of hands-on things with them. For example, we have Miss Gill who comes in and she does making some bead chains with them. And that in itself is therapy, because the pattern is distinct and they have to be stringing and things like that, concentration. So it doesn't have to be that you come and do something elaborate with them. It's just something to help them stay focused and show that others care other than us at the center.
Right.
And that's a key part of it. Shirley, tell us about that. You know, the importance of having interaction. I know sometimes you have volunteers who not just donate food, but they go and they spend time with the participants as well. How important is that to the community you serve?
I think it's very important because it lets them know that people do appreciate and care for them. And every time someone goes in and helps them, you know, do minor things like comb their hair, or, you know, do a little trim or something like that, the smile that's left on their face is just priceless. And I think they really do appreciate it. So I would honestly say that we need more people like that who come in and just spend time with them and getting to know them.
How do you think this has changed your perspective, or people who volunteer perspectives of people that they see on the street that they see as homeless?
I think that it really opens up their hearts and their minds, because it's like you think that they're bad people, or, you know, something like they're going to hurt you or something like that. And when you really get to know them, it's just like, they're just like me and you, like everybody else. Because we could be in that position one of these days. We never know, right? And it's just like, when you get to know them and get to know their situation that they went through, it's like a connection that you make with them. You know.
Ms. Joyce, what has the partnership been like with other NGOs, or, for example, the government, in being able to get access to resources to support the initiative that's being done here at Welcome Resource Center?
When it comes to partnership, Brighton, with other NGOs, it's a bit difficult, because for some part, most NGOs, or some of them, are territorial. So when it comes to collaborating with others, it's difficult, because then I'll have to get into your funding in order to do this, and you'll have to get into my funding in order to do that. So the collaboration is difficult in terms of that. However, because we serve a wider population, when we think about mental illness, we are also thinking about all the challenges that you face. So even if someone has a disability, the first place they come is the resource center. And we don't turn away anybody. So like, I had a conversation with, I can't remember the name of the young man, but he was like, can I come to the center? I said, yes. I said, we accept everybody.
Yeah.
And some of them come and they want to disclose status and things like that. I said, we are not here for that. Hence the reason why when it comes to the COVID-19, the only thing that affects us is the mask wearing, because we have always been using universal precautions with everyone.
Yeah.
So the mask wearing is the only thing that affects us besides financially, but in terms of personally for our participants and ourselves, it's the wearing of the mask, because we do not discriminate. We don't care who you are.
Yeah.
Right.
We're open to everybody.
So how are we commemorating the 8th anniversary?
How are we commemorating the 8th anniversary? Very much silent. I mean, yes, we're doing our media rounds, but we aren't doing much due to COVID, but we have a regular donor who every year for our anniversary for the past 3 years, he provides us with food. Cow foot soup, and he also does barbecue.
Okay.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to be mentioned, so he just does it out of the goodness of his heart. And he has been doing it for the past 3 years. He called yesterday and said, Miss Ellis, I got you for Thursday. I said, no problem.
So they're going to have a feast on the anniversary day.
A feast on anniversary. We also have a lady and her son who had donated some care packages for us. So they'll get that. We got some water bottles that we'll give them. And I am supposed to get some blankets. I haven't received them as yet, but we're supposed to get some blankets. I am hoping that we could get them by Thursday. If not, then they'll still get it.
Yeah.
But since it's their anniversary, it's like their birthday, the gifts are there. So.
All right, and the 3C campaign is ongoing?
Yes, it's ongoing. When will we collect the...
We'll collect our barrels on the 14th of July.
Okay.
The 15th, the Monday.
Yes.
So you still have time to drop off your items in the barrel.
Yeah.
Brody's Downtown, Brody's Northern Highway, canned food. Publix on the Boulevard also canned food. Price and Company canned food, clothing, and cash. The Resource Center, the same thing, canned food, clothing, and cash. And I also want to mention, Marlene, that we are also having an AGM on Friday.
Okay.
And the AGM is for the Resource Center and for the MHA. Shirley could tell you more about the AGM.
Yes, it's our 24th annual general meeting. We're having it on Friday, and if anyone wants to be a part of our board member team, you can visit our website at the Mental Health Association for further information. We'll send the link out to the Zoom as soon as we get it.
Fantastic. Well, happy 8th anniversary to you. And we do hope that people once again will be inspired to step forward and help you in continuing to serve the homeless and mentally ill population in Belize City. I'm sure you still get demands to open up centers in other parts of the country. But
yes, I get a lot of that. Why can't we do it in this district or in that district? I say yes, we can, but the finances, what is important here.
All right, so you can drop off cash, you can drop off clothing, especially male clothing, and you can drop off canned food to help to continue the work of the Welcome Resource Center. Ladies, thank you so much for being with us this morning and telling us about the work you've been doing.
Thank you too.
All right.
And with that, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll be learning how to properly prepare cheese boards, so stay with us.
Good morning, sweetie. It's time for school.
Are you a teacher or public sector employee who is thinking of owning your new home? Get the keys to your new home with Belize Bank's all-inclusive mortgage, the best financing option in Belize for your new home purchase or construction. Inclusive of all mortgage-related fees, no down payment, affordable terms, amazingly low interest rates. Visit our nearest branch to speak to one of our financial advisors to discuss how you can be one step closer to owning your new home. Some conditions apply.
If you have a baby on the way, here is what you need to know about maternity benefit. It includes both an allowance for 14 weeks and a grant, which is a lump sum of $300. The basic requirements are: you must be employed, you must have at least 50 paid contributions, and you must have continuous contributions leading up to delivery. To apply, a licensed doctor certifies the expected date of delivery. The employer completes the salaries record. Submit your completed claim form as soon as possible. After giving birth, submit your continuation claim no later than 3 weeks after delivery. If the mother does not qualify, the father of the child may qualify for the maternity grant. Want to know more about maternity benefit or grant? Visit our website or contact any of our offices to have someone assist you. Also, be sure to visit our Facebook page and give us a like to stay informed. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
Introducing Edam A cheese, the A+ Dutch cheese to hit the Belizean market. As the name says, it is of A-class quality, the best Dutch cheese in Belize. Edam A cheese is creamier, less salty, and simply more delicious. Don't be left out. Get your A cheese at a supermarket near you. A cheese exclusively distributed by Unitex Company Limited. Call us at 610-3626 or 610-8910. Follow us on Facebook at Unitex Belize.
Whether you're at home, on the road, at work, or at school, if you see news happening or suspect that something might be up, call or text the Channel 5 News Belize tip line at 672-5555. You don't have to give us your name, just give us the tip. That's 672-5555. Call or text us so we can check it out.
Hola, Tony.
Hey, Kevin, ¿qué onda? ¿Qué pasa?
Nada, le vine a buscar porque necesito comprar más mercancías de vasos y platos desechables para mi tienda de comestible. Me estoy quedando sin esas cosas.
No, hombre, fíjate que desde el 15 de abril no puedo importar nada de eso. Y se me acaba de terminar todo lo que tenía hace como 3 semanas.
Oye, pero nunca has estado sin esas cosas. ¿Qué está pasando?
Mira esto. Esta es la nueva ley que prohíbe todo el uso de plásticos no reutilizables. Esos son vasos, platos, cucharas, tenedores, todo eso. Desde 15 de abril de este año no he podido importar nada de eso. A partir del 15 de enero del 2021 nadie puede fabricarlo. 15 de abril 2021 nadie lo puede vender. Y a partir del 14 de julio del 2021 si alguien te agarra con eso, te multan.
Híjole, no sabía eso. Necesito cambiar algunas cosas. Les diré a mis clientes por qué esas cosas ya no están disponibles. Gracias, Antonio.
Así es, cuídate, man.
Working off-site doesn't mean you have to be off your game. Studies have shown that simply adding a keyboard and mouse to your laptop increases productivity by 26%. Add a monitor, and you'll be 35% more productive. At Foltech Systems, we have what you need to enhance your remote work or e-learning experience. With devices such as headsets, video conferencing monitors, webcams, keyboards, mice, docking stations, all with the brands you trust. Keep connected with collaboration tools like Microsoft 365 Suite and Kaspersky and perform efficiently no matter where you are. Foltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service.
As one of the largest cable and internet providers in Belize, CBC strives to provide our customers with the highest standards of quality, value, and service in all aspects of cable TV and internet. Monitoring our systems closely, our technicians combine creative planning and state-of-the-art technology with years of experience and training to develop and provide the most reliable and advanced cable and internet service to exceed your expectations. for CBC and our team of talented engineers, technicians, and customer service representatives, delivering less than the very best is never an option.
Smart continues to expand its internet coverage countrywide to help you live a smarter life.
Our villagers are very happy. They are pleased to know that Smart went the extra mile to put a tower in our village so that our villagers can get live stream on their TVs and they can get their kids doing their online classes. I want to say to Smart, thank you for making it possible for us to get internet in Gardenia Village. We really do appreciate it.
Smart continues to take the internet and mobile services to communities across Belize. Now save even more when you bundle your Smart broadband with Smart mobile services. Smart, bringing people together.
And welcome back. We move into our third segment for this morning. We're joined by the owner of I Love Grazing Board, Miss Ellen Kumsal. Thank you for joining us this morning, and we're going to be learning how to prepare a proper cheese board, as well as you will be speaking to us about grazing boards.
Yes. Good morning. Thanks for the invitation, guys.
Good morning. So tell me, I mean, there are a lot of goodies here. Ellen, how did you get into making these?
Okay, Marlene, I started, actually I enjoy these things. I love a good wine with some cheese, good cheese, meats. This is my thing.
Mhm.
So I said, if I enjoy these things, somebody out there definitely enjoying it too.
Mhm.
And that's how this idea came to promoting these.
Did you just start
grazing
making one
boards.
for a party and then everybody said, make one for me too, please?
Actually, yes. Yes. That's how it started. I made one for my friend. It was a big table, long table. And from that, I posted on my Facebook, and that's how it started. My
Yeah.
other friend called from San Pedro. She wants one. And that's how this idea actually
Mhm.
started.
You know, one of the beauties about this is the way in which it's prepared and how it's presented.
Yeah.
Speak to us about how long it takes to prepare something like this.
I have a passion doing these things.
Mhm.
I really enjoy creating these boards.
Mhm.
It takes, this size will take you probably 45 to an hour.
Wow.
This size, probably 30 minutes.
Mhm.
So it does take time, Marlene.
So one of the things that you were telling us before we got started is that there is a difference. This is considered a grazing board. What's the
Yes.
difference?
Okay,
Because
there's
we've
a
been saying
difference.
cheese board.
Yes. People say cheese board, charcuterie board. I call it grazing boards.
Okay.
Which I stole that name from the Australians. They call it grazing boards.
Mhm.
When you say cheese board, the name says it all. It's
Yeah.
a board full of cheese. It's
Right.
80% of what's in that board has to be cheese,
Mhm.
as well as a charcuterie board. It has to be a lot of meat. The word in French means meat,
Meat.
so you
Yes.
expect meat. My one is grazing board. I like the idea of grazing board because you can add dips, fruits, vegetables, anything you want, different type of cheese.
Yeah. And fruits, I mean, it's also, I mean, you're grazing with different types of snacks, but it's also just a feast to watch with your eyes.
Yes, it is.
It's beautiful. I don't even know which part I'd touch first, but probably the dragon fruit.
But also, it just looks so healthy as well. It looks like a combination of, I mean, usually
Says
they
the
say that
athlete.
when you see all the colors on your plate, then you know you're getting nutrients from so many different different foods.
It is very healthy, guys. Seriously, it is.
So what's it been like since you started? You actually started the business around the time of COVID.
Yes.
A hard time to start a business in general.
Yes, I started because we were at home, our family was at home, and we were, having a little bit more wine, and that's how this thing started.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
And people have since then.
So far, it's been good. Better than what I expected, thanks to all my customers. Seriously. I enjoy doing this for them. And yes, it's been doing good, really good right now.
And the range for the prices?
Marlene, the most sold ones are the most famous ones I have. Is
Okay.
the one for $75, which is what we will be setting up for you right now.
Okay.
And this board here is from $160 to $250.
Yeah.
All depends on the cheeses and the meats that you have.
Yeah.
Which I accommodate in this box.
Oh,
this size of box.
pretty.
From this box, 3 to 4 people can graze from it. And from this one, we have up to 6 people grazing from this.
Yeah.
And if I make it bigger, you know, with more stuff, up to
Right.
10 persons can graze.
Yeah. Certainly, this is a great gift to give to someone.
It is.
Yeah.
And I do sell a lot of those gifts.
As
I do
gifts?
sell as gifts, yes.
Okay, so clearly, I wouldn't be able to do something like this at home.
I can do it for you.
Exactly.
I can do it
People
for you.
like me, I'll just get somebody to help me. But some people want to try to put something together at home, and you're going to show us how to do it, right?
Okay. What I start first with, I start with my dips. Hummus and baba ganoush.
Oh,
Right.
these are my favorite. So now for people who are doing this at home, they're going to personalize it their own way. You did hummus and baba ganoush.
Yes.
But you could do any other
Chicken
type.
dip, spinach dip, any dip.
Ranch.
Even our own, you know,
Cheese
famous
dip.
cheese dip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have for this
Do you
one,
make
I
your
use-
own hummus and baba
Oh,
ganoush?
sorry. Yes, I do make my own hummus. I do make my own baba ganoush. I grew all my little herbs you see here, the mint and the onions. All of those things I have in my yard.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay, from that, I like to, after that, I put my cheese.
So you start outer first. I thought you start in the middle first.
No, I start out.
Okay.
Why? Because I want to show that little beautiful blue heart.
Now, how do you select cheeses? For somebody doing it at home, how would you select it?
Okay, for some, it's all up to what type of cheese you like. If you like hard cheese, soft cheese, cream cheese. I use, most of my cheese that I use is smoked Gouda, Asiago, Parmesan, cranberry, brie cheese.
Yeah.
So much cheese that I can't even remember right now.
Yeah.
And you know what, Marlene? The best part of it is that I get my products from Carnivore, which they have everything. I don't need to be sure.
Everything
I was
that you
just going to
need.
ask, where do you find all the different types of cheese in the
Most
country?
my cheese at Carnivore.
Okay.
Nice.
And my meat. After I put my 2 dips, I go to the cheese. Then I put my meat. Sorry, I had to pre-do it before because it takes time. This is my little ham roll.
Oh, that's so cute. And that's just ham.
That's just ham.
Okay.
And it's our own product, Running W ham, and this is also a Running W product.
This is pastrami?
Pastrami. Sorry, salami.
Salami.
Now these are what we call antipasta. This one I can take my time and I can make it on time.
So you're just folding it
I just fold
together.
it into half, then another half.
Oh, that's definitely an art. You're doing that so
I know.
And that's because I'm nervous, so.
Aww.
But at home I'm not so nervous.
So what do you find to be the trends that people kind of pick this up for a weekend at home?
Yes, on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays I get pretty busy. Yes. And sometimes during the office days, I will have people that call from the office to, share it with their workers.
Okay. So we got the basics. We got dips, we got cheeses, and the cheese is based on your preference.
Yes, based on preference.
And then you put together the meat as fancy as you can. I don't know if I could do what you did there.
And then we have the olives, which these olives are also marinated by me. What I do, I collect different olives from everywhere. I import some and some I buy here in Belize. But I marinated with herbs, olive oil, and a little dash of garlic. So it's something that I really like.
Keeping it healthy.
Yes. Yes, keeping it healthy. This, I sell them by containers and people really like it. Only
And you mix the green and black?
I mix the green, black, seedless, Kalamata olives.
All right.
If someone doesn't know what type of cheese to get on their board, what would you normally recommend?
I like all cheese, so like, what can I recommend?
What's our common favorite? for
This one.
The smoked Gouda.
The smoked Gouda is
okay.
a common. Parmesan is also a really common one. Smoked Gouda, Parmesan. Those are the ones that people mostly know about and ask me about.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we
And
have
brie?
the special ones. Special ones, I'll call the brie, the cream goat cheese. Don't be scared to pair,
Yeah.
Don't be scared to pair. Try.
Yeah.
Try everything. I have the cucumber here, Marlene. You put this on the side. My cucumbers there, I use them as dip. as
Okay.
what you call a cracker.
Okay, so you use them
So
for
I
the
can
dips.
dip it as a cracker. Yes.
And I can't miss that you also have cheese balls here. Tell
Yes,
us about
those
that. And they are
cheese-
beautiful.
I call them cheese truffles.
Oh.
They are from goat. Goat cream, goat cheese.
Uh-huh. And you just roll them in what,
Right.
fruit?
Okay, yes. This one has, this one is, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting.
Is it what, orange, mango?
No.
It's yellow. Apricot?
Apricot, dried
Yeah.
apricot. Thank you very much. Dry apricot and
that's nuts.
And nuts,
Yeah.
walnuts.
And the other one is?
The other one is roasted nuts, also with onion and cranberry.
Cranberry. Oh my gosh. So fruits
Yeah.
and cheese go great together. That's
Fruits
what we
and
like.
cheese go great together.
And vegetables and dip.
Particularly grapes and cheese. Grapes and cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your favorite combo? When you put together your perfect cracker, what does it have?
Okay, my pairing.
Uh-huh.
Okay, you see this pear? I don't know where the other one is, but let me take this one.
Okay.
Let's cut this one in. This is what I call the copa. Cut your pear very
copa?
slice. Yes.
Okay. Now we're really getting the tricks.
This pear is a cracker also.
Okay. You'd put meat.
This goes very, very good with smoked Gouda. Sorry about that.
All right, go ahead, because you were saying grapes and.
Try this one. You have to. How is it?
Oh, it's so good. Yeah.
It's salt and sweet.
It's salt and sweet.
Salt and sweet.
And then the crunch just tops it off.
So the pear on a board is a cracker.
That's what you put it there
That's
for.
what I put it here for.
Oh. And I love that you also use the sweet peppers as
Yes,
your little bowl.
because you can eat it at the end. You just cut it in slices and you can have that.
And it'll already have all the dip on it anyway.
It already has, yes. It already has dip.
All right, so let's see what else you added here. You added some cherries, black
I added
cherries, some
cherries.
pickles.
Pickles, and right now what I'm doing is the strawberry.
Okay.
You know, many people love this strawberry. And there's a trick about the strawberry. You can cut it that way, or you can slice it like this. Just make this as soft as possible.
Oh, wow. It's pretty intimidating though, because it is a lot of work. That's what people don't realize.
Yes, it is.
They think, okay, I'll buy cheese and just put it on a board, but it won't look like this.
But I like it. See here?
Yeah.
Then this can go wherever it needs a little bit of color. Perfect.
How long did it take you to learn some of the cutting skills with like creating those designs?
It took me a little while.
Mhm.
Not much. What else I can?
All right, so let's go again with some do's and don'ts. What are some of the things, if you're going to try a cheese board at home, you definitely want to do?
A grazing board.
A grazing board, I'm sorry, yeah.
Okay, if you want to do a grazing board, that is the thing what I like about grazing boards. Have no rules.
Okay.
You can just put anything on that board and that board will look good.
Okay.
The taste, the combination of the taste is excellent.
But you
And-
want to get some sweet, some salt, some different textures.
That's what you call the pairing,
Mhm.
right? The pairing. Oh, Marlene, I have this.
Ooh.
Sorry.
Here's a special.
These
go.
are biscuit crackers. They're also used for the hummus, mayoga ganoush.
Now that I can definitely try.
I like the creativity of using the bell peppers as
Yes, because it won't go
Yeah.
garbage. You can have it. You make great hummus.
yeah.
You like the yes. Thank you.
All right. So, Ellen, once again, some people will venture into trying that at home. But for the most of us, we probably just end up calling you and asking you to put one together. How far in advance do people have to order a grazing board?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I just need 45 minutes in advance.
Okay.
But during the week, at least 1 day in advance.
Okay.
Because everything is freshly made.
Yeah.
I don't like to cut and,
Right, right.
Yeah, of course, of course. And how do they get in touch with you?
You can find me on Instagram and Facebook. I love grazing boards.
Do you do deliveries?
I do deliveries within city limits, and out I just, we find a way to. Awesome.
And you also offer wines as well, too.
Yes, I started to offer wines. These are some of the few that I have. Because somebody wants to order a board and they want the wine too to come along with it. So this is what I have.
Well, it's been so great finding out from you how to put this together. I think it takes far more creativity than you're giving yourself credit for, because it is very detailed when you look at it.
It's very detailed, Marlene. It does take time, but it's something I do enjoy, So just call me anytime.
All right.
I have that ready for you.
So once again, find her on Facebook. I love grazing boards. You can see the different selections, and of course, you can make your order. And when you stay at home with your loved ones and be able to have a night in safely, you can do so with a lovely grazing board in front of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for coming.
And with that,
we're going to take our final break, and when we come back, we're going to have our wrap-up.
Hola, Tony.
Hey, Kevin, ¿qué onda? ¿Qué pasa?
Nada, le vine a buscar porque necesito comprar más mercancías de vasos y platos desechables para mi tienda de comestible. Me estoy quedando sin esas cosas.
No, hombre, fíjate que desde el 15 de abril no puedo importar nada de eso. Y se me acaba de terminar todo lo que tenía hace como 3 semanas.
Oye, pero nunca has estado sin esas cosas. ¿Qué está pasando?
Mira esto. Esta es la nueva ley que prohíbe todo el uso de plásticos no reutilizables. Esos son vasos, platos, cucharas, tenedores, todo eso. Desde 15 de abril de este año no he podido importar nada de eso. A partir del 15 de enero del 2021 nadie puede fabricarlo. 15 de abril 2021 nadie lo puede vender. Y a partir del 14 de julio del 2021 si alguien te agarra con eso, te multan.
Híjole, no sabía eso. Necesito cambiar algunas cosas. Les diré a mis clientes por qué esas cosas ya no están disponibles. Gracias, Antonio.
Así es, cuídate.
Good morning, sweetie. It's time for school.
Are you a teacher or public sector employee who is thinking of owning your new home? Get the keys to your new home with Belize Bank's all-inclusive mortgage, the best financing option in Belize for your new home purchase or construction. Inclusive of all mortgage-related fees, no down payment, affordable terms, amazingly low interest rates. Visit our nearest branch to speak to one of our financial advisors to discuss how you can be one step closer to owning your new home. Some conditions apply.
It's a fact that with Smart, you get truly unlimited everything. Only with Smart, you get unlimited data anytime. While with the other guy, it's only double data on weekends. With unlimited data every day with Smart, there's no need to wait. So, it's a fact that our unlimited plans beat the competition. Stop being measured and told when to use your data and get unlimited talk, text, and data. Experience the true unlimited plans with Smart. That's a fact. Make the switch and live smart.
If you have a baby on the way, here is what you need to know about maternity benefit. It includes both an allowance for 14 weeks and a grant, which is a lump sum of $300. The basic requirements are: you must be employed, you must have at least 50 paid contributions, and you must have continuous contributions leading up to delivery. To apply, a licensed doctor certifies the expected date of delivery. The employer completes the salaries record. Submit your completed claim form as soon as possible. After giving birth, submit your continuation claim no later than 3 weeks after delivery. If the mother does not qualify, the father of the child may qualify for the maternity grant. Want to know more about maternity benefit or grant? Visit our website or contact any of our offices to have someone assist you. Also, be sure to visit our Facebook page and give us a like to stay informed. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
Introducing Edam A cheese, the A+ Dutch cheese to hit the Belizean market. As the name says, it is of A-class quality, the best Dutch cheese in Belize. Edam A cheese is creamier, less salty, and simply more delicious. Don't be left out. Get your A cheese at a supermarket near you. A cheese, exclusively distributed by Unitex Company Limited. Call us at 610-3626 or 610-8910. Follow us on Facebook at Unitex Belize.
As one of the largest cable and internet providers in Belize, CBC strives to provide our customers with the highest standards of quality, value, and service in all aspects of cable TV and internet. Monitoring our systems closely, our technicians combine creative planning and state-of-the-art technology with years of experience and training to develop and provide the most reliable and advanced cable and internet service to exceed your expectations. For CBC and our team of talented engineers, technicians, and customer service representatives, delivering less than the very best is never an option.
And Marlene, there you have it. We're at the end of this morning's session on Open Your Eyes, and we had in with us this morning the Minister from the Indigenous Peoples Affairs to speak with us about the Halakta case and also what's ongoing within that particular ministry.
Yeah, we definitely want to thank Minister Garcia for coming in and sharing an update on what's been happening and what their plans are moving forward. Of course, we'll keep following that scenario there. We also want to thank Joyce from the Welcome Resource Center and Shirley. Yeah. 8 years.
Yeah, they're celebrating their 8th-year anniversary. And if you do have access to resources, the 3 C's, can, clothing, and cash, they will certainly appreciate the support in trying to get their initiative going forward and giving that service to vulnerable populations that they work with.
That's right. You know, we definitely, if you've never visited the Welcome Resource Center, we really encourage you to do so. You'll understand how much of an impact they're making on the lives of the homeless and the mentally ill. So please do be kind and donate. It can be used clothing, especially male clothing. They need that very much. And it can be canned food and always welcoming cash. Then,
yeah, and certainly
I'm ready to graze away.
It's certainly a pleasure always being here to taste test and to appreciate just the creativity that we have in our country. And we thank Ms. Kumsa for showing us how to prepare a grazing board and just the amount of colors that we see right here in front of us, and the taste, it's just so good.
Yeah, and you know, once again, I think it's one of those things where you see someone starting up a business, they're creative on their own, and they realize that they have something to offer beyond just for their own family. And we've seen so many little businesses get started like this. Ellen definitely takes pride in what she's doing, and the creativity and the attention for detail shows. Yeah. So we gave you some tips on how to do it at home. I don't know, you know, I'm not one of those people who think I can create something like this. So you can always look up I Love Grazing Boards on Facebook, on Instagram, and order yours for your special at-home weekend.
Yeah, and there we have it. If you want to join us, you can join us tomorrow morning when you open your eyes.
To start your morning right. Remember, you can contact us by emailing us at oye@channel5belize.com. Find us on Facebook at Open Your Eyes BZ.
And you can also check us out on Instagram at OIE Belize.
All right, remember to tune in tomorrow morning at 6:30 when you open your eyes.
Start your morning right.
Until then, keep your eyes, your mind,
and your hearts open.
We'll see you soon. Enjoy your day, Belize.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.